Hi, everyone, and welcome to Brian's Horror Corner. I'm your host, Brian, and welcome to this top 10 episodes of the original Twilight Zone series video. This is a wrap up to the month that I've went ahead and reviewed all 5 seasons. Those individual videos are up on my channel, so be sure to check those out. Giving you my top 5 and bottom 3 episodes from each of the 5 seasons of the original Twilight Zone series. Today we're going to do sort of a summary of the entire series and then my top 10 Twilight Zone episodes and my bottom 5 Twilight Zone episodes of the entire series, all 5 seasons. So that's what we're going to do today. So yeah, if you're new to this series, this is my box set of the Twilight Zone, all 156 episodes on Blu-ray here, which is a very nice box set collection. Not really a box set, but um, so yeah, I think I'll just kind of start by summing up the entire series and my thoughts. The Twilight Zone is probably my favorite television series of all time. Um, at the end of the day. Going through all 5 seasons with 156 episodes, there's about 121 that I would watch as part of any Twilight Zone marathon that I'm doing. So that means there's only 35 episodes out of 156 that I wouldn't really go out of my way to watch. So yeah, 121 out of 156. I don't know what that percentage is, but it's definitely well north of 50. It's more like 75, 80%. So very good series. I think I will start by giving you my bottom 5 overall worst, whatever you want to call them, but my least favorite worst episodes as I see them of the Twilight Zone. And I do have a couple of dishonorable mentions, just like I'll have honorable mentions as part of my top 10 Twilight Zone series. Now, the bottom 5 was a lot easier to do than the top 10 was. But ultimately, I'm going to settle on the ones that I have here. So, um, I think first I'll just finish up my overall thoughts. I think, like I said, I think the first 2 seasons of the Twilight Zone are rock solid, the best of the series. Season 3 is really good, even though there might be a little bit of a step down. Season 4, where they cut the episodes in half, but increased the amount of each episode to an hour from half hour. As I mentioned in my Season 5 video, I prefer the half-hour format. I think it works better for this particular series. But I really enjoyed a lot of the episodes from Season 4, 14 out of 18. And then Season 5, probably the weakest of all 5 seasons, but there are great episodes. It's just that they started rehashing certain episodes, certain ideas that they've had in previous seasons, and there's just kind of more meh episodes, just more kind of their episodes, I feel like, in Season 5. Ultimately, because I was curious why the Twilight Zone ended after 5 seasons, it's basically because Rod Serling's time was just he went into teaching, and I think he was also involved in some social issues as well. But I know he was doing more teaching the last year and a half or so. So he basically would come back mostly for the wrapper, or not the wraparounds, but for his intro to each episode and filming those. But as far as writing and really being involved in the creativity of the show, I think it really waned the last year for sure. I know. And I also read that he just got tired of fighting with the network and because they were constantly on his case with some of the content that he was putting out there with the show. So the fact that he didn't have time and he didn't want to fight with the networks anymore, they pretty much pulled the plug after the 5th season. I think they probably could have gotten a couple more decent seasons out of the show, but certainly I do think Season 5 it was on the way. It kind of gone over the hill, so to speak. Not, I wouldn't say that it was completely like jumped the shark, as people like to say, but I do think it was on the other, sort of on the downside of the hill. But that being said, I really enjoy all 5 seasons. So let's just go ahead and get into it. We'll do my worst 5 of the series and then my top 10 of the series. So first thing I'm going to do is give my dishonorable mentions, and I have 2 of them that didn't quite make my bottom 5 list. Um, the first one's from Season 1. I think it's second to the last episode, entitled "The Mighty Casey." Um, this is about the robot baseball player. Just not a very good episode at all. Very cheesy. just not well written, not well executed, and the moral that you're left with this episode is just absolutely ridiculous. That if you have any kind of heart, then you can't be competitive. It's absurd. Um, and then my other dishonorable mentions from the last season, season five, which was early in the season, and that's entitled "Last Night of a Jockey." Um, yeah, it's just another episode with this one. This was the one about with Mickey Rooney. Um, it's just he's in a room the whole time, and it's just not a very interesting episode. Kind of hard to get through. So that's my other dishonorable mention. Now, starting with my bottom five, coming in at number five, worst episode is going to be from season one. The Four of Us Are Dying. Which, if you watch my season one review for that season, that was my least favorite. Even though some people would probably argue that the Mighty Casey's a worst episode, I was more annoyed by the Four of Us Are Dying because I what happens in the last 5 minutes of that episode still annoys me when I think about it. It's just the ending's terrible. It really doesn't make any sense. There's no explanation given. It's just, hey, look what this guy can do with, just not a good episode. I would skip that one if I were you guys. The fourth worst episode of the series for me is from season three, entitled "Cavender is Coming." Towards the end of season three, I think it was second or third from the last. This was sort of like a musical comedy type of episode with the guardian angel, which again, this is a episode that was kind of rehashed to begin with. It has Carol Burnett, and there's just not a lot of humor in it. It just doesn't land at all for me, either the concept of it or the humor that they were trying to go through for. So just a very forgettable episode. Cavender's Coming, fourth worst. Coming in at number three, I Dream of Genie from season four. This was definitely my least favorite episode from season four by quite a bit, actually. Um, yeah, again, they tried to go for comedy, a lighthearted episode that just does not work for me. And then the ending, they kind of have this weird twist that really didn't work for me either. The whole episode's just forgettable. Number two worst, the whole truth from season two. This is the one that was filmed as one of the videotaped episodes, but that's not what's wrong with it. That's just the icing on the cake. This episode's offensive. It's ridiculous. Again, it tries to be funny and it isn't. Just bad acting, bad dialogue. Nothing good about this episode. But it didn't quite get to number one because we had an episode from season five that took the cake when it comes to the worst Twilight Zone episode. And that was, of course, Sounds and Silences from season five. Yeah, I don't know what to say. This episode was annoying. It was boring. That combination right there is enough to make it the worst. There's nothing interesting about it. The main character talks in these grand fashion statements and very annoying. His wife is not much better. Every character in this episode is bad. The ending is bad. The Sounds and Silences, skip that one. It's the worst Twilight Zone episode of the original series, in my opinion. So now on to bigger and better things, and what was harder as well, the top 10 Twilight Zone episodes of all time. First, I'm going to give you my honorable mentions, and even when I mention some of these, let's just say if I were doing a top 15, I could have easily done a top 15 or top 20 Twilight Zone episodes. That's how many great episodes there are. So I feel kind of bad leaving these as honorable mentions, but I wanted to be consistent with the top 10. So, you can only have 10 in a top 10 as much as you like to try to squeeze more in. So my honorable mentions are The Last Flight from season one, The Silence from season two, Will the Real Martian Please Stand Up from season two, It's a Good Life from season three, In His Image from season four, The Odyssey of Flight 33 from season two, and finally The Masks from season five. These are all wonderful, all time classic Twilight Zone episodes that just didn't quite make the top 10 for me. Um, but like I said, if I were doing the top 15 or top 20, these would easily be comfortable in that range. But doing the top 10, so coming in at number 10 might be a surprise to people, but I'm going to go with the season one episode from later in the season entitled The After Hours. This is a fantastic episode about the woman who's in the department store and looking for I think she's looking for something for her mother. It's like I can't remember. It's like a some kind of object. It's like jewelry of some kind, but not like I can't exactly remember without looking it up. But terrific performance by the woman that plays the main character. Her name escapes, and just it's a very creepy episode. Great atmosphere, a great twist at the end. There's even a there's a. It's just this episode's just great. I mean, the After Hours is. I know a lot of people have it towards the top of their list. I can understand why, but for me, I have it at number 10. Number 9 is going to be from season 5, and that's the one, and that's Living Doll. Obviously, another classic episode with Telly Savalas as the main character. He's brilliant in it. The whole idea of the episode is brilliant. It kind of led us down the path of like creepy dolls, evil dolls, excuse me, things like that. So this episode definitely stands out, especially for season 5. Very solid Twilight Zone episode. Really enjoy Living Doll. Um, Number 8 is an episode that I just love, and I wished I could place it higher, but that's from season 2, entitled Shadow Play. This is the one with Dennis Weaver as the main character, where this guy keeps having this recurring dream about being locked up and going to be executed. And it's just so brilliant. It's just so well written, such great dialogue, the use of shadow and light. It's just a great, great, surreal sort of Twilight Zone episode. Love it. Number 7 is going to be The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street from season 1. This is obviously a well known classic episode. What makes this episode so good is the relevance that it still has. I would argue, in some ways, even more so today than probably in 1960 when it came out. It's a pretty large ensemble cast, but everybody does a good job. It's just really really creepy. But I just love the twist and the moral of the episode. You just can't go wrong with it. Fantastic episode. The Monsters Are Due on Maple Street, number 7. Number 6 is going to be one of the hour long episodes from season 4 that I really love. That's entitled The New Exhibit. This is the one that has sort of the psycho vibes, as I said, from my season 4 review. Martin Balsam is the main character, is very much like Norman Bates in a lot of ways, except that he's sort of hiding these wax figures and sort of protecting them as they kill people, as opposed to a mother. But it's very much in the same realm. Just very creepy, very atmospheric, very good, very well acted, of course, by Martin Balsam, one of the great performances in the Twilight Zone. The dialogue was great. Not, it wasn't overly padded, in my opinion, and it has a great twist at the end as well. This is just a fantastic hour-long episode. The New Exhibit coming in at number 6. Now we get into our top 5, and this is where it got tough. But at number 5 is going to be the amazingly the one episode I have from season 3 in my top 10, and that's To Serve Man. Yeah, what can you say about this episode? It's just brilliant. The sort of turning on its head aspect of it midway through the episode towards the end is just great. Skepticism at first, but ultimately trust and belief, and then you find out the big twist, of course. And I love the way this episode's told too, from the main character's standpoint, narration from the beginning, and then bookended at the end. And then the way he looks at the camera and really talks to all the viewers. It's just a really wonderful episode, To Serve Man. Um, Probably you could argue the best twist in any Twilight Zone episode, and that's not easily done. I didn't purposely just have one episode from season 3. See, if you watch my season 3 review, season 3 has many, many great episodes, obviously including It's a Good Life, which just missed. Also, Alone in the, or Nothing in the Dark is a great episode that I love. But again, you can only get 10 in the top 10 out of 5 seasons. It's tough. So, coming at number 4 is going to be On Thursday We Leave for Home. This is the other hour long episode that I have in my top 10 of all time. What can you say? The performance, once again, by the main character is second to none. One of the great television performances by any character. by any actor or actress. This is just a really well. I think this might be Rod Serling's best written episode. Actually, on Thursday we leave for home. It's so interesting and compelling, and the final scene with our main character really leaves you with sort of a creepy vibe, but also just a real gut punch kind of vibe. And it's just a great episode. On to my top three, and of course, all three of these episodes are from the first two seasons of the series. Not surprisingly, probably. Number three is from season one, when the sky was opened. Yeah, I love this episode. This is a very much a sci-fi Twilight Zone episode. Probably the only one that I have in my top 10. Oh, To Serve Man, I guess you could say, is a little bit, although not that's not really the focus of it. But When the Sky Was Open, just again, great acting, especially by Rod Taylor, the main character. Just does a really interesting story, and it executed very well the way it plays out. And you're on the edge of your seat throughout this entire episode. So When the Sky is Open, or When the Sky Was Open, my number three. My number two favorite episode of the Twilight Zone all time, of course, is a pretty famous one, and that's Eye of the Beholder from season two. What can you say about this episode? Excuse me, I'm fighting off a cold in case you guys can't tell. It's got one of the great twists of all time. But leading up to the twist, just what they do with shadow and light, darkness and light, and it's just so brilliant. The sort of the outlines of the characters as we see them, the dialogue that goes on. It has a great build of suspense in this episode, and then when we get the twist and the ultimate conclusion of what's going to happen here, it's a very thought provoking and also very relevant. Just like the Monsters Are Due on Maple Street was. So relevant episodes are automatically going to be some of the great ones, and we can relate to them today. And Eye of the Beholder is probably at the top of that list. So Eye of the Beholder number two, but number one for me, and I know this won't be the same for everyone, is going to be from season one, Perchance to Dream with Edward Hall. What can you say about this episode? I'm really into dreams and how they work and everything surrounding them. Um, that's why Shadowplay was in my top 10 too. But Perchance to Dream, what they do in this episodes, from the camera work to the visuals to the music, the score, the suspense, the acting, everything is top notch in my opinion in this episode. And then of course we get, some people might say it's not a great twist now because a lot of this kind of episode's been done in movies and shows since then. But if you watch it from 1959, it's just I can't imagine what people must have been thinking at the end of that episode. I just think it's very effective from start to finish. This episode works on every front, and it's the one that I've watched the most often. Perchance to Dream, the best, my favorite episode of the Twilight Zone original series. So there you have it, guys. That's my bottom five, my top 10, and my overall summary on the incredible Twilight Zone series that ran from 1959 to 1964 that I have all 156 episodes in my Blu-ray box set here. Go ahead and comment down below. Tell me what your top episodes are. You don't have to give me your top 10, but like your top three, top five, whatever you want to do, and your bottom or worst episodes. Tell me if you think I missed any that you thought were really bad, or if I missed any that you thought were really good that I didn't even have in my honorable mentions or part of my top 10. Make sure to like this video and hit the little notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. Be sure to subscribe to my channel. I have a great series for the month of December, which will be very much related to the season, horror related, of course, to the season. So you definitely don't want to miss that. So definitely subscribe to my channel so you can see that, as well as my standalone horror movie reviews that I do sporadically throughout the month. So thank you very much for watching this entire series. I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching my video as always, and stay scared. Bye.